All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you. 9 minutes with me here from Rosie's Corner, IGTV, Facebook, and YouTube. And you know the drill by now. If you don't, get with it. Let's go. Fish Friday here at Rosie's. Pair it with the mac and cheese or the French fries and the coleslaw. Delicious. Just order some meatball bomber subs and a chicken parm sub as well. This place is incredible. Make sure you get on down here for Fish Friday. The pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, all of it. You can get the mac and cheese separate as just a side if you want that as well. Homemade, delicious. Here at Rosie's Corner, and a bunch of the drinks in the cooler, as well as potato salad, mac salad, your garden salad, things of that nature as well. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram for more. Rosie's Corner is a proud sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. And if I had to recommend at least one thing, garlic parm wings. Try those, or the Gold Fevers as well. Rosie's Corner, appreciate their support of the ML Sports Platter. So if we get NFL football this year, okay, it's going to be a wild, amazing, fun, pressure-packed, I think, season for these guys, the Buffalo Bills. Let's get into the schedule here a little bit. First and foremost, the highlight, of course, is 4 primetime games. The Bills in mid-October will host a Thursday night game against Patty Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. That will be a shit show at New Era Field in terms of the excitement and the amount of Labatt Blues flowing through Bills fans during the day for that one. And then towards the end of the season, a very interesting makeup of games. The Bills will have 3 primetime games in their final 5 games total during the season, which will include a prime-timer late against New England, a Sunday nighter against Pittsburgh, and a Monday night football game. I believe the date is 12/7 out in San Francisco, playing in the Bay against the defending NFC champion Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan. Remarkable. When's the last time you saw a playoff team on the rise like Buffalo playing the last Super Bowl teams? I don't remember. I can't remember the last time that happened. In terms of a team that went from, that drought of the Bills to playoff spots in the last few years, and all of a sudden you come into it this year in 2020 having to play both teams from the Super Bowl last season. Very interesting schedule, obviously. I think it's going to come down point blank to 3 things. Number 1, protect home turf. Number 2, it's going to come down absolutely positively to your division games. They've got 6 games against the Tom Brady-less Patriots, the Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. If the Bills, in my opinion, can go 4-2 there, preferably 5-1, they'll be off and running to a division championship. And remember, this Bills team has not won a playoff game since '95 when it beat the Miami Dolphins as well. The third thing it's going to come down to is health. Just like everything else in the NFL, can your guys stay healthy? And actually, the fourth thing, I'll throw one more thing in there, is clearly Josh Allen. But as I said yesterday in multiple videos, the Bills, the surrounding parts of Josh Allen are going to need to take the next step if Josh Allen is to take the next step. What happens this year if Josh Allen takes the next step and he's playing a more primetime schedule, he's playing tougher road games, he's playing against tougher defenses, and he's playing against tougher counterparts at the same position like Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Patty Mahomes and company. Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, is going to have to face Kyler Murray as well. What happens if Josh Allen takes that absolute positive proverbial next step, but Brian Daboll doesn't improve in terms of being the OC? What happens if a receiver or two get injured? What happens if the offensive line doesn't take a major jump? And in my opinion, the offensive line has to take a major jump. I thought they played all right last year. They played formidable, but this is a team now that has gone out with Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott and company. They have made the necessary roster moves to allow Josh Allen to succeed. They have used the cap money wisely. They are deep at every position. This is one of the best rosters in the NFL. The question becomes, can Josh Allen and Brian Daboll get on the same page? They weren't on the same page last year in a lot of cases. When Brian Daboll would call the perfect play, Josh Allen would screw up. When Josh Allen was ready to go and throw the ball downfield, Brian Daboll got conservative with Sean McDermott next to him, and they also were not operating fully in the red zone. I know what the analytics say. Sal Capaccio, I love him to death at WGR and others. I don't give a shit. I watch the games. I don't need to hear about the analytics. The red zone was deplorable last year for the Buffalo Bills. When they needed to score in the red zone, they did not. There was too much settling for field goals and not touchdowns. And if you don't believe that, go rewatch the Houston Texans game. The Buffalo Bills could have won another game or two and actually won the East last year and hosted a playoff game if they were just a wee bit better in the red zone. And you know what? If you want to add a fifth key, let's add that. The Bills have got to be better in the red zone. because they're playing better teams, tougher games on the road. This is not the same schedule as last year. Remember, the majority of the games for the Buffalo Bills were at 1 o'clock, and it was a very easy process. And they also played, average to below average teams that going into the year, they were coin flip games. We didn't know how bad or good teams were. We eventually found out how bad the Giants were, the Jets were, the Dolphins were, the Bengals were. Pittsburgh lost Ben Roethlisberger and had a plethora of other injuries all year. We didn't know how bad they were. Really good defense, still a really good win for the Bills in primetime at Pittsburgh to secure that playoff berth. But the reality, the situation is a lot of those teams last year were a lot worse than we thought going in. The Bills maybe were a wee bit better, but they still struggled against those teams. Not this year. You cannot screw around this year if you're the Buffalo Bills. You got to play. Again, San Fran on the road. All divisional games will be tough. You got Russell Wilson at home. You got to deal with Patty Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the defending champion Chiefs. You've got a tough schedule. You got to go at Denver, one of the toughest road places, which, by the way, could end up being a flex game at the end of the year if both teams are in playoff position. And whoa-wee, you might have 4 primetime games in the last 5 games. Of course, as I just mentioned, 3 of them. You could add a 4th one, Denver, late in the year as well. This is going to be a week-to-week. You got to be on it. You got to be focused, and you got to be absolutely ready to play in every which way. Every phase of the game, the Bills have got to be ready. Josh Allen's got to be ready. The O-line's got to be ready. They got to limit penalties. They got to be good in the red zone. They got to be prepared. The coaches have got to do twice as much work as they did last week in order to be ready. And the Bills, people are coming after them. This is a team on the rise. There's now national interest from fans, as you can see from the Thanksgiving Day game against Dallas, a win, and at Pittsburgh Sunday Night Football, and the games against New England. There's a national interest in the Buffalo Bills. Now you're getting them 4 primetime games. This is an imbalanced schedule against way tougher opponents. Last year, almost every single game was at 1 o'clock. The Buffalo Bills had it made. And remember, they are creatures of habit. Players and coaches sleeping in their own beds, having the same weekly schedule, even regional games at 1 o'clock, no problem. It's easy travel back to Buffalo. If they're home games, it's just like last week, back-to-back. They had it made. They had the bye week in a perfect spot. They had inferior opponents. Even the games that they flexed into prime time, it was still a Sunday night game against Pittsburgh. It's a quick hour flight back to Buffalo. You play Thursday at Thanksgiving against Dallas. It was a 4:25 game. You're back at Buffalo by midnight, and then you've got an extra 2 days lapping around to the next Sunday. It was absolutely made in heaven for Buffalo last year. Not the case this year. Everybody has to be prepared. And again, back to those division games, I think Miami's going to be improved. I think the Jets are going to be improved. I think the Jets had a really good offseason and a great draft with Mekhi Becton starting things off as a lineman from Louisville to help protect Sam Darnold. The Dolphins, a ton of picks. Brian Flores, I think they're going to be a lot better. And remember, it was nip and tuck last year in a lot of those games as well. The Bills needed Trey White to get a pick to actually start things off to win at home against Miami. The Bills almost blew week 1 against the Jets when Darnold had mononucleosis. And look, I understand the Patriots don't have Tom Brady, but they're still well coached. Bill Belichick's still there. Josh McDaniel's still there. The defense will be good. They'll be tough at home. I do realize that the Patriots lost Jamie Collins and Danny Shelton to the Lions and Kyle Van Noy to the Dolphins in the division. But the Patriots are not going to be just this easy walkover. This is not going to be a 4-12 team or a tank for Trevor team. Belichick will not do that. He's going to kick his players' asses to try and win every week. So a lot of challenges for the Buffalo Bills, but hey, fun, exciting, people coming after you. You're on the national stage, and as a fan, that's all you can ask for. All right, amazing stuff here at Rosie's Corner. 9 minutes with me, Facebook, IGTV, and YouTube. Get on down here for the pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, wings. You name it, it's here. Facebook, Instagram, go follow them and like them. And by the way, today's Fish Friday. Pair it with the mac and cheese or the fries and coleslaw. I'm Mike Lindsley, Rosie's Corner, a proud sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. As I always tell you, when they come back, enjoy the games.